You want to listen to the Kids Corner, Travis?
That sounds fun.
Great.
Yup.
Sure would be fun if that happened.
Sure would, Joel.
And me time now, family life.
Yes?
Hello. I called about a few minutes ago. Is this the animal clinic?
Yes.
My name's Amber. I have the camel with the broken back. Is the vet ready to see us?
Yes.
Okay. Is that all you say?
Yes.
So will this be a free vet visit? Fine. My camel's pretty bad off. Can we just take him in?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, you must be Amber with the camel? Yes, that's us. Can you help him, doctor? Hard to tell. We need to take some x-rays. How exactly did this injury happen? I was just loading him up with stuff to carry. You know, like you do with camels. Right. And what were you loading him with? Cinder blocks? Anvils? No, just bales of straw. I should have guessed. Bring him on in. This is Ruben, my x-ray assistant. Oh, right. Have we met?
No.
Oh boy, please tell me you can say more than that.
No.
All right, looks like the camel's in place. Ruben, are you ready?
No.
What now? Oh, of course, I forgot. You're my radiologist. You can't do x-rays without the radio now, can you?
No.
Can we hurry this up?
No.
We'll start soon, ma'am. Let me just get this started for him real quick. So we were waiting forever for our number to be called. In the meantime, they had people bringing in their gerbils and goldfish, and they were taking them in before us.
That must have been pretty frustrating.
Yeah, but they finally got to see Camel, and he's there now. They said he'll be ready to come home on Monday.
Well, that's good news. May I ask why your family decided to name your cat Camel? A white and black cat doesn't strike me as camel.
Well, that was kind of me and my dad. When I found him as a little kitten, I thought he was a girl, so I called him Camilla. Then we found out different, so Dad started calling him Camel.
Oh, that makes sense.
Hi, Mr. Jacobs. What's so funny?
Yeah, are we telling jokes today?
Good morning, Ruben, Olivia. Amber was just telling me about taking her cat into the vet for surgery.
Oh, I'm not sure how that's something to be laughing about. Is her cat okay? He's fine. He just had to be kept at the vet's over the weekend.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I can't imagine being away from our dog for more than a day.
Seriously? How do you go on vacation?
We take her with us. What else would we do? Yeah, I know Camel's gonna be okay. But I do miss him.
Camel?
They can be hard to wait while things heal, that's for sure. But in the meantime, you want to listen to the radio?
Sure.
Your cat's name is Camel?
Quiet, Ruben. The show's about to start. Mr. Jacobs, I have a question.
All right, Olivia, what's on your mind today?
You and Amber were talking about how she's waiting for her cat to come home from the vet's after he had surgery, and that got me thinking about how hard that would be for me.
That's understandable. It's not easy waiting to see your pet again after being separated.
Have you ever been separated from Flynn, Mr. Jacobs?
I have, a couple of times.
Right, but it was still hard for you, right?
Sure. Why?
I guess what I'm really wondering is if it's wrong to feel that way. There are times when I really miss my cousins or my friends from school, or I'm really excited to see a movie, and it can be really annoying when I have to wait. Yeah, kind of like when we were taking Camel into the vet. It took forever.
Still not used to your cat's name.
So my question is it wrong for me to get frustrated about stuff like that?
That's a good question. It does seem to come naturally, but that doesn't always mean it's the right way to react.
So does the Bible say anything about it?
It says quite a bit. All through the Bible in places like Ephesians 4:2, Psalm 37:7, and Colossians 3:12, we're told over and over to have patience with not only other people, but with God too.
Whoa, hold on. We need to be patient with God?
Can God be annoying?
He can, if we have our hearts in the wrong place.
Our hearts?
I think we're going to need a drama script about this to explain, Mr. Jacobs.
Yeah, what Reuben said.
Well, I don't know if I have a drama script today, but I do know of a story in the Bible that might demonstrate what I'm talking about.
Well, you know how us kids love demonstrations.
I'll be right back.
And we can listen to the radio while we wait. Once upon a time, in the wilderness, the great prophet Moses led God's people towards the land God had promised them. He says it's full of milk and honey and other good things.
It's not just me that says it. God himself has promised these good things. We just need to follow him.
Yeah. Speaking of common liquids, we haven't seen any fresh water around here, Moses. Are you sure God's taking care of us? We are in the desert after all. Shouldn't he have thought of that?
Lord?
Yes, Moses?
The people are getting concerned about water.
There's some right over there, but you'll need...
Water! Finally! I'm parched. Blech. This water is really gross.
I was getting to that. You need to put those branches into the water before you drink it. Then it will be sweet.
He's right. We're saved.
See? If you trust me, everything will go well with you, and you will not suffer.
And so they all went back to trusting God. But soon...
Lord?
Yes, Moses?
The people, they're complaining again.
What's God's problem? Aren't the graves good enough in Egypt? If he wanted us all to die, why didn't he just do it in a place where there was actually food? Sure, we were slaves, but at least we had some bread and meat.
I am going to feed you. Trust me. I know what's best for you and will keep you safe.
Look! What is this? It's light and flaky like bread or something. And so it went for a while. Whenever things weren't going exactly the way the people wanted, when they wanted, they would start complaining. God was patient with them, though, and would provide what they needed.
Trust me. I only want the best for you, and I know the best way for you.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes, Amber?
This script just keeps going like this for a long time.
Yeah, it's kind of a main theme through the books of Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. God would lead them through the wilderness, and his people wouldn't trust him to take care of them. Over and over, they would stop being patient with him and say he was a bad God.
How could they say that? God has saved them from being slaves in Egypt and gave them food and water in the desert. No other God could ever do that.
It does look silly from our point of view, but how many times do we get impatient with God when he doesn't seem to be giving us what we need when we need it?
Like waiting for your cat to come home from the vet?
Among other things. I guess the moral of this story is that if we are patient with God, we're showing that we trust him. He loves us and will always take care of us because he always knows what's best.
Does this mean we're done with the script?
I mean, we've already learned the moral of the story. Seems kind of pointless to keep going.
If you'd like to keep reading the story, I'd pick it up in Exodus 32, where the people get tired of waiting for God to give them his laws.
All right, got a Bible?
Sure do.
And while you look that up, we can listen to the radio. Still reading the Bible, Reuben?
Yeah, Mr. Jacobs was right. These people just don't know how to trust God at all. They don't listen to him when he says to do something. They do what they want when he says not to. They complain when they don't have something. But I did have a question about this all, Mr. Jacobs.
Oh, yeah?
We've been talking about being patient with God and his plans, and how we need to trust him, which makes sense, but reading these stories in the Bible, there are times where it doesn't look like God is very patient with his people.
Really? Where are you seeing that?
Well, at the end of Exodus 32, it says that God sent a plague upon his people for worshiping an idol. And in number 16, not only does he send a plague, but he makes the ground open up and swallow people. And I haven't even gotten to the poisonous snakes yet.
Poisonous snakes?
Numbers 21.
Right. So what I'm wondering is, why does God tell us to be patient with him when he's not very patient with us?
Because he's God?
Amber's not wrong. There is an element of God being the all-powerful creator that gave you life and that gives him the authority to tell you what to do. But I think there are other answers to your question, with the first being God was being patient in those stories.
He was? I'd hate to see him not being patient.
Well, first I need to clarify that being patient does not mean that you don't do anything when something hurts or bothers you. God wouldn't be a good God if he didn't stop people from doing the wrong thing. And when they don't listen after he does what he needs to prove he's being serious. And verses like 2 Peter 3:9 and Hebrews 12:6 explain that God's patience and correction are both ways he shows that he really does care for us and that he doesn't want anyone to be lost.
I guess that makes sense. My parents are kind of the same way when I don't listen to them. Mine too.
I did notice that God didn't start to send those punishments the first time his people started complaining. It took him a while to get to the plagues and stuff.
I noticed that too. And the other reason that came to mind for why we need to be patient, particularly when it comes to waiting for God, comes down to the fact that God is all-knowing. If he knows everything, then he knows when the perfect time is for anything to happen. So when God, who loves us and wants the best for us, tells us to wait, the smartest thing we can do is to listen.
Hard to argue with that. When you put it that way, it kind of makes not listening to God sound pretty dumb.
It's not the smartest course of action, that's for sure.
It's not always easy though, is it?
Not by ourselves, but when we love God with everything we have, his Spirit helps us do the impossible. And who knows, God's timing might be earlier than you expect.
Hey Amber, your phone got a new text.
Oh, thanks. You have a phone? My parents won't let me get one until I'm 13. It's not fair.
Remember what we've been learning today, Olivia?
Oh, right. Patience. Oh, wow.
What is it?
Camel, my cat. Mom just sent me a picture. The vets dropped him off at my house. I guess he was meowing for me all night and all day, so they brought him back early. I've got to go. Can we come? Sure, follow me.
I guess we're leaving now, Mr. Jacobs. Want me to turn off the radio?
That'd be great, Reuben, thanks.